All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So, I had a reminder here recently to check out a video that I totally intended on watching, and yes, I know this is a typical story for me, but it got lost in the abyss, and I'm glad to be reminded because this is definitely something I've been looking forward to watch. Cut right through it. It's called Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, the courtship of rivals basketball. And this has been recommended by multiple people now at this point, and it's time to do it. This is an extremely long video. It's an hour and a half long, and since I'm still sick and, you know, obviously you can hear my voice, I'm thinking I'm gonna do half today and then react to the second half tomorrow. We'll see how my voice and all that holds up. But it'll be a super long video today and super long video tomorrow. So for those of you who are fans of the hour-long videos, reactions, these 2 days are for you guys. So anyways, without further ado on the intro, let's see. This is from a channel called the NBA Historian. And I'm gonna link the original video down below in the description for you guys. So if you want to check out this channel and see what else they have, the link is down there for you. You also see a list of channel members, shout out channel members. I'm not sure how this one's gonna play out because this is an official documentary from what I understand. So very well might be copyright claimed, but only one way to find out. Either way, even if it is copyright claimed, I'm going to react to both parts and just let it be, let it be. So I appreciate you members. Thanks for having my back when it comes to this stuff. Guys, without further ado, I say let's get started. Like the vid if you could, hit that hype button if you could. All that stuff helps, and yeah. Hyper uppercut is all I can think about every time I think of the hype button. I'm broken. I'm mentally broken. Let's do this.
They talk about it every day, somewhere. If I go to a foreign country, magic, what magic? It's the same everywhere.
So funny. You can't have Bird without magic and vice versa. Like, their stories are so intertwined.
We don't have to say hello. We don't have to call each other.
That's my main competition. It's always been like that.
You know you got this tight bond with this cat, and you don't have to see him for a year or two. But you're always going to be linked to him.
We got this connection that's never going to be broken. I mean, right to our graves. They'll be talking about this 100 years from now.
Hold on. This is an epic intro. I'm just curious if it shows 2013, 2010. Okay, Rivals 2010 documentary HBO. Oh, I'm in trouble. But okay, so that's what I wanted to know. So this is from 15 years ago. Awesome. How did I not watch this? Courtship of Rivals.
It all began here in Salt Lake City, Utah, on the night of March 26, 1979. It was the NCAA championship, Indiana State versus Michigan State, a game that still ranks as the highest-rated college final ever on television. A game that's now remembered as a prologue to a rivalry that transformed a sport and intertwined two legacies.
You know, how cool is it that we got?
But on that night, March
preview.
26, 1979, the first time Magic Johnson and Larry Bird ever went head-to-head on a basketball court. They were simply two young men trying to win a very big ball game.
Well, this is probably the biggest game I'll ever play in my life, and I just feel like, I'm representing not only myself, my team, but we're representing our school and our town, Terre Haute.
Well, it's a dream come true, really, for me. I won the state title back in my home state, and then my next accomplishment was going to the NCAA and playing in a game like tonight in the finals.
They were two stars thrown together by the cosmos to compete, but only one of them had been groomed for the spotlight. In his case, it seemed since birth.
Yeah.
I think his upbringing in East Lansing really put that smile on his face in the beginning, and it never came off.
Born August 14th, 1959, Irvin Johnson grew up in Lansing, the gritty industrial capital city of Michigan. Raised under this little roof, he was one of Christine and Irvin Johnson Sr.'s 10 kids. Christine was a school custodian,
10 kids.
while Irvin Sr. worked 2 jobs nearly around the clock.
My father, he got up early every morning, 6 o'clock or so, and he went to work on his trash hauling truck every single day. Around noon, he would come home, catch a nap, and then he worked for General Motors for 30 years. And he won an award for never being late and never missed a day.
Damn. No load managing while working 2 jobs consistently. Yeah, that'll teach you hard work.
Youngster, Irvin displayed his own strong work ethic on the blacktop.
I was out there all day long. Before we went to school, bus leave at 7:30. I was out there at 6:30 working on my game. My mother sometimes had to bring me food, or she would have one of my brothers and sisters go get that boy so he could eat something.
Yeah.
From a very young age, Irvin knew what he wanted to do. He had it all planned out.
My dreams were to play in the NBA and become a businessman.
That young.
Neighborhood basketball powerhouse.
I'm surprised the businessman thing was in his head at a young age. I thought that was something that popped in his head after he got his hands on some money from the NBA. But okay, so he was always forward thinking. No wonder why he got along with Bus so much.
Sexton High.
I knew the players, I knew the tradition. I wanted to be a part of that. And it was on the west side of town, which was, at that time, predominantly black.
But when Lansing, like many cities in the mid-70s, began busing to desegregated school system, Irvin's journey took an unexpected detour to a predominantly white school across town.
My first day at Everett High School was my first time I really had to understand there was a race problem. Nobody white would speak to anybody black, and nobody black would speak to anybody white.
A lot of racial tension, a lot of fights, rioting. They didn't want minorities there.
He kind of shrugged it off, and basically his attitude was, okay, well, I'll overcome this.
Whenever there was any racial problems, the principal would get Irvin and go talk to these kids. I can just see him with his big hands. Calm down, just calm down. He'd break up fights.
Talk with his friends, tell them, let it go. We can't fight about everything. Let's just chill, let's play basketball.
And there was no dispute over Irvin Johnson's ability to play ball.
Love it.
His talent was so great that soon after his varsity debut, a local reporter, dazzled by his exploits, gave the budding star a nickname.
In the beginning, I thought it was foolish and dumb. I didn't know nothing about a nickname. Then what happened was, you start saying, wait a minute, it fits my game.
Right.
Hanging out with my boys on the street.
So he got that nickname in high school?
Corners, we used to sing Temptation songs. They started saying, hey man, Magic, that's cool. And then people on the street started saying, hey Magic. And I said,
That's crazy.
He bought into it, and I think he felt he had to kind of live up to that name. And I must say that he did.
He loved it.
I mean, it might be the coolest nickname ever. Like, Air Jordan is awesome, too. Larry Legend is great, but Magic, it's so fitting because it never ended. Air Jordan kind of ended around, 95, where he was less air than he was when he started. But Magic never stopped being Magic. In fact, I still see him in interviews and stuff. It's still magical. Something about him. He's got an aura, a very special aura.
More attention he got. You know, he wanted attention from anybody he could get it from.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I really love the game, and I just want to win.
That afro is awesome.
And he jams it through. Irvin Johnson.
Irvin loved to dress. Nice Sanderbelt pants and overcoats with the fur around the collar.
Man, when I was a kid, I tried to grow an afro, not understanding that it's not possible with my genetics because I've got like thick, long, straight hair. But I tried, man. You couldn't stop me. I eventually ended up like gelling it up and spiking it, you know, like a punk, like an 80s punk kind of thing.
Always had to have his afro blown out. He had to look the part, play the part.
Irvin was the first guy to have a posse. He not only had a posse of a lot of black kids, he had a lot of white kids.
Nice.
And hanging around him.
Some of my white friends were like, hey, man, we're having a kegger tonight. Won't you come on by? And I said, what's a kegger? So he said, well, what it is, we get this big keg of beer, and you just go for it. Okay. Well, what time does the kegger start? Because regular party time in our neighborhood is 10, 11 o'clock. The kegger starts at 7. I said, the party starts at 7 o'clock? Mm-hmm. I said, okay, man, I'm going to come to the kegger. We had a good time. The music was kind of bad, but we had a good time. You know?
His senior year, Johnson did at Everett what he had planned to do at Sexton, win the state championship. And when it came to choosing a college, he decided to stay where the love would be assured, home in Lansing.
Next year, I will be attending Michigan State University.
At MSU, Magic's star quickly went national. But atop the college game, he soon discovered a certain presence beside him.
Yep.
The first time
This bastard.
I saw Larry Bird was actually in a magazine. Saw his stats, blown away by his stats. But let's see if he can really do it against us. And that's always a mindset of black players if he's a great white player.
In 1978, after his freshman year, Magic would quickly find out, when both he and Bird were chosen to play for Team USA in the World Invitational Tournament.
They would put Larry Bird and I on the same team together to scrimmage, right? It was blowing my mind because he's dominating Jack Givens, Player of the Year in college basketball. Larry Bird is eating him alive. I couldn't wait to call home and tell my boys, man, this dude named Larry Bird is for real. This is the baddest white dude I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I thought he was very good. There's no question about it. I thought
Real quick, how cool is it that they got to end their careers essentially by playing on a dream team together, USA basketball? It kind of goes back to square one with them.
And Larry Bird is for real. This is the baddest white dude I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I thought he was very good. There's no question about it. I thought he was probably the best guard on the team.
Irvin Johnson, look at that.
We didn't get to play a lot, but you could tell.
I think our first game was in Kentucky. We got about a 10, 12-point lead. Man, they put us in. Went to 25, 30, just that fast.
Fast break again, 3-on-2. Griffith, look at that steal by Larry Bird.
Take us out, the lead go back down, put us back in.
That's Bird and Johnson.
The show start again.
When you play with Magic, there's just something about it. You want to make that extra pass. You want to get that rebound and start the break.
We came down a couple times. I go behind my back, no look to him. He no look back to me. And I'm laying it up. I'm saying, oh, man.
There's that last play. Magic Johnson going in, drops off the Bird. Bird puts it back.
Guys, could you imagine if they actually teamed up and played on? I mean, obviously that would suck for NBA history. But, man, they're so similar. Bird's here saying like it's because of Magic that's contagious, but we've all seen him with the Celtics inspiring the exact same thing on his team. Make the extra pass, push the break, everyone be unselfish.
outside to Johnson. Super
Two peas in a pod.
This guy got game.
They had some wonderful moments on the court, but they probably spoke to each other 4, maybe 5 times during that entire time period. And it was more like, hello, how are you this morning, Larry? I'm good, Magic. What'd you have for breakfast? Don't remember. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
But such curtness was hardly strange coming from Larry Bird, who was not only one of college basketball's best players, but also its biggest enigma.
I think he was a mystery to the extent that he wanted to be a mystery. He didn't enjoy doing interviews. He didn't go out of his way to do them. He wasn't particularly good at it. He was kind of like, hey, this is who I am. You want to know who I am? Watch the game.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
I start to read materials that you're very quiet and you don't enjoy talking to newspaper people.
Well, you know, there's different kind of newspaper people. There's people that try to push you. You know, there's people try to get things out of you. Things don't even pertain to basketball, and them are the type of people I like to stay away from.
He didn't want people
I respect the hell out of that. The media is never your friend. It's never your friend. Even if they're building you up, they're going to try to break you down and destroy you by the end of it all. So I totally respect that. From a young man, he definitely, I don't know where he learned it, but that's brilliant. Yeah, don't trust the media.
Talking about his family, he didn't want his mother to have to deal with that or his siblings to have to deal with that.
You got to remember where Larry came from. You know, Larry was raised in a 2 or 3 room house on a railroad track. Their family probably lived on $50 a week. He was raised tough.
Larry Joe Bird grew up in southern Indiana, in the twin towns of French Lick and West Baden. The Valley, as locals call it, was a tough working-class area. Tiny and remote, it was one of the poorest places in the state.
I didn't know that people made millions of dollars. I didn't know that everybody had a family car. I was in my own cocoon. I was in a small town with the people I knew, and I thought I'd live there for the rest of my life.
Life before the internet. It is. Yeah, we were just products of wherever we were born in, and we didn't really question it. I mean, even in, you know, I was born in '82, so I went quite a few years before I ever got internet access, and even then, it wasn't like it is now, where, you know, you can see whatever's going on around the world in every neighborhood, Google Maps, and all this stuff. You just kind of live life, and you made the best of it, you know? I grew up in a very hot desert. I loved it. I didn't know any different, you know? It was good times.
Harbor Day 1956, Larry was the 4th of 6 kids born to Georgia and Joe Bird. Early on, he and his older brothers earned a reputation around the valley.
We were always considered troublemakers. We're either fighting amongst ourselves or there was always one of us fighting somebody.
Sounds just like Larry.
Larry was always one that kind of instigated things, you know.
If I could get my brother in a fight with somebody his age, I was happy as hell, because I like to see him get beat up, and that's just the way it was. if I got in a scrape with some kid, and my brothers didn't come to my side, they knew that when he got home, my dad was going to whip him.
Oh, man.
Larry and my dad were best of friends. They done everything together. When my dad would go out to my grandma's house, Larry would always go with him. They'd go fishing, do a lot of things together.
But Joe Bird also had a darker side, stemming from a traumatic tour of duty in Korea.
Larry remembers waking up in the middle of the night hearing his father's blood-curdling screams from the nightmares he had had from the war.
Dang.
What happened to his father in the war affected his entire life. He was never able to quite get rid of whatever those demons were.
A talented craftsman, Joe Bird struggled to hold steady jobs. And even when he was working, his demons would, on occasion, drive him to the bottle.
There were times when Joe went out with the guys and had a few beers and the wages didn't come home that night. And that didn't happen every day. It happened once in a while, but when money is as tight as it was for the Birds, once in a while was a major problem for their family.
I think it's a common thing that a lot of us have fallen into. It's a trap, though, and anyone who realizes it later on in life, that's a fantastic thing. But you drink to get you think you're drinking to like get this memory out of your mind, like you're gonna drink it away, but instead it just intensifies it. It intensifies the feeling, it intensifies the memory, and whatever trauma you were trying to drink away, you just made it bigger and just stronger. And yeah, something I wish I knew when I was younger. Now I know. You know, I try to only drink in a celebratory manner because of this, because I used to drink when I was, you know, depressed or whatever, and that did not help. It actually, alcohol increases depression. So short term, you might think like, yeah, I'm on top of the world. For the majority, that's going to last maybe an hour. For the majority of it, you actually just like screwed yourself. You're going to be way more depressed than you were to begin with. But like I said, we weren't like born with this knowledge.
My mom sometimes worked late and sometimes she had 2 jobs, but that's the way it was. I worked at school during my lunch hours, worked at the local grocery store, put up hay in the summer. I mean, if you wanted money, you had to get it on your own.
To young Larry, actions spoke louder than words.
He was very quiet, kind of hung to himself a little bit.
I saw Larry take an F in an English class because he had to get up in front of his peers and give a speech.
Wow.
So I won't do it. But he just could not get up in front of his friends and talk. He was that shy.
Of course, next thing you know, when he knew it was time for all of us together at the gymnasium, well, there he'd be. The minute he'd get a basketball in his hand, things were totally different.
Basketball was just, it came to me, seemed like easy. I didn't have the quickness, I didn't have jumping ability. I just thought the game out.
By his senior year at Springs Valley High, Larry Bird had sprouted into a star. But Bird was from the Valley, hardly a hotbed of talent in the big-time world of Indiana hoops.
The first thing they say, well, they don't play nobody down there. He's from French Lick. They don't play nobody.
I think that put a chip on his shoulder, always having to prove who he was and how good he was.
He was good enough for Indiana University's Bobby Knight to come calling late his senior year.
Wow, look how young he is. Whoa.
Here. And folks in the Valley couldn't have been prouder. Their local hero was heading 60 miles north to play ball for one of the best college teams in the land.
Once I got to IU, it didn't take long to realize that I was out of my cocoon. I had over 30-some thousand students, that I didn't have the funds. First week and a half, I thought, man, this ain't gonna work.
He left after 24 days.
Wow.
Let my mother down. She didn't talk to me for 2 months. But it didn't matter what other people said. To this day, I don't care.
Back in French Lick, Bird took to working for the city, hauling trash and painting park benches. Meanwhile, by that winter, his father's demons had taken him to an even darker place.
Oh, no.
By this point, Joe and Georgia were divorced, and he was behind in his payments to the family. The police came by, and of course, they all knew him. So Joe said, hey, I need a few hours to get my affairs together before you take me away. So he called Georgia, and he said, you guys will be better off without me, and I'm going to take my life. And he put the phone down, and he killed himself.
Oh.
He shot himself.
I didn't. Damn, I didn't know that.
When Dad passed, you know, it hurt Larry. I mean, that was his best friend. Is gone now. But Larry didn't show it a lot.
He just didn't say much. You know, he just kind of held it within. I never heard him speak out about it at all.
I haven't either.
I was mad when I heard about it, and I was madder after the funeral because I thought he sort of cut out on us during a tough time. But you know, he went through a lot in his life. He did what he had to do.
Damn. Wow. That's heavy.
If Bill Hodges hadn't been as persistent as he had been, Larry Bird might never have existed in any of our minds. I believe that with all my heart. I really do.
It was Bill Hodges, a young coach from Indiana State University, who convinced Bird to give college hoops another shot. So with a promise to his mom to graduate, Bird headed to Terre Haute and ISU. a school that never so much had been to the NCAA tournament.
Once I started playing, it's the same old thing. You know, he's at a small school and he ain't playing against anybody, which is fine. Still dominated.
Still dominated.
No longer talk of whether Indiana has a new state bird. Now his claim to fame is just the way he plays the game. Indiana has a new state bird. It's not
same old
bird.
bird.
Now, hey Larry, take a bow. Indiana has a new state bird.
By the time he had led tiny ISU as a senior to a 33-0 record and a spot in the '79 title game, Larry Bird had become, alongside Magic Johnson, the talk of college basketball. Just a year after sharing the court on Team USA, they were back together. And the day before the big game, Magic couldn't wait to greet his old playmate.
Indiana State was on practicing, and we were waiting in the tunnel. We got there early. I wanted to definitely say hello to Larry, you know. When they came through, it was like nobody would say nothing. I wanted to go toward him, like his guys, like made sure that he didn't say nothing. And then they kind of start snickering, like, Michigan State, you in trouble. We're going to kill you guys tomorrow.
I probably did snub him. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did. I didn't want any, you know, like I call it love fest, hugging and slapping high fives with opponent. You're there for a reason. You're there to win a game.
That just said it's
I mean, it makes sense, though. Like, that friendship can happen after your career, but when, I mean, literally Magic Johnson is standing in the way of Larry Bird getting what he wants. He wants to win this championship. That's your rival. And vice versa for Magic. I totally understand why you didn't want to be chummy, because then your guard is down, and this is a competition. It's a battle, you know? I think it's just so cool that even though it started like this, it became a lifelong friendship.
Now,
hold up.
There for a reason. You're there to win a game.
That just said it's on now.
Yep. That set the tone.
It is Indiana State against Michigan State. I'm Bryant Gumbel, and the fans here are going bananas.
I mean, let's face it, if Larry Bird were black and came from Chicago, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. They were polar opposites. Mm-hmm. One black, one white, one outgoing, one shy. That was the charm of the attraction.
Yeah. In fact, these two coming together and becoming friends, I think, was huge for the movement that was going on at this time. Like, you know, everything was about the skin color at this point, and you see two rivals like this playing the same sport. Both, I mean, everyone would agree at that time, these are the best players, you know, and then they're rivals and they're friends and there's a mutual respect. That's all that's needed sometimes to break down some barriers, is that we're humans, you know. It doesn't matter what our skin color is, what differences, how we grew up. No, we found something in common and we respect each other, and that's a good starting point. And that's why the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson story, it's bigger than basketball, even though like the basketball memories are phenomenal, but they did something fantastic, I believe.
Magic, all of the superlatives have been used, and believe me, all of them have been warranted.
Heading into the tournament, Magic was the bigger star.
The irony is, I doubt they even had any idea how powerful what they were doing was. I think it just happened naturally. That's my opinion, at least.
By tip-off, it was Bird, having hardly missed a shot in the semifinal, who had become the focus of fans and, more importantly, of Michigan State.
We actually had two men on Larry everywhere he went.
There he is, Dick. Look at they have him sandwiched in completely.
I'm surprised they didn't play a box on one, you know, 4 guys on Larry and one on the other 4, because they didn't have a lot of talent. You know, if you stop Larry, you pretty much stop them.
Look at the pressure around him. 2-3 men, and he's short.
I didn't play well at all. Biggest game of my life, I didn't play well.
Third, way short.
I think our length and our size, our jumping ability was able to bother him.
Bird hanging, can't score.
I didn't shoot well, missed, I think 3 free throws.
I mean, let's be real too. This is it's way bigger of a stage than Larry Bird's ever been on at this stage of his basketball career. So the pressure might have got to him.
Larry
Also,
Bird.
that kind of double team, I don't think he was prepared for that. It reminds me of the early years of Jordan and the Bulls. You know, he wasn't expecting that. He didn't deal with that in North Carolina. Now all of a sudden they got 2 or 3 guys on him. You have to learn how to adapt to that type of situation.
Has had a cold shooting
You need
night.
more than one game to do it.
I battled him, but I didn't have it.
Damn, he got up.
Oh, there's the pass. It's all over. Michigan State University, national champions, 1979.
Magic, not only were you a leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on Larry Bird in the zone, denying him the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
Damn.
Congratulations, Super Bowl game.
Way to give props to the coach and the scheme. I love it. Shoot.
It was over, you know.
This one still hurts,
My 4
Bird.
years. I was done. No, it still hurts.
Yeah.
And when you win 33 in a row and you walk into a game, you know, you never know what to expect, but I expect to win. We didn't win. Toughest loss I ever took.
Dang. 30 years later.
I knew it was going to haunt him forever because we were going to see each other a lot.
So crazy.
The National Basketball Association, in its 33rd season, is troubled by diminishing crowds and declining television ratings, signs that fan interest may be waning.
If college basketball was flourishing at the end of the 1970s, the pro game was crumbling. After the golden era of Bill Russell and Jerry West in the 1960s, a merger with the ABA in 1976 had led not only to new teams, but a new temperament.
It was a new league with new times, with renegades, with individuals.
There was an argument made, plausibly, I think, that it was too black a league for the United States of America in the late 1970s.
You think about the Knickerbockers at the time.
Bill Cartwright.
The running joke was it was the Knickerbockers.
Oh, man.
You know, that's what it was. It was the N-word.
It's turning off a lot of white customers that are coming to the game, you know.
Why? Yeah.
I think there's still there's a conflict between the white and the black, and I don't enjoy going to basketball and seeing all black players.
I mean, I think when they said too black, they meant not just in terms of color, but in terms of style. Let me get mine, and the hell with yours.
Basketball for us was about the best moves. You wanted to be that big player that everybody talked about. You wanted to be the one. You didn't think about winning championships or team play.
And those were just the issues on the court.
The NBA had this image of an all-black league with a bunch of guys who did drugs. The teams were losing money, and they had no sponsors. And that's pretty much a death knell right there.
Yeah, it is.
It's a known fact that you need your white superstars. You just need more white ball players on the team for the white fans to identify with.
And in the newest member of the Boston Celtics, that's exactly what the league appeared to be getting.
There's hope he can help solve professional basketball's difficulties, which some say are compounded by a question of black and white.
Great White Hope. I forgot.
Great White Hope. What does that mean?
Well, you know, it's very hard to say because there's a lot of great white players around, and I just hope that I can just fit in as well as some of them that has fit in.
He ran away from that designation. He made it very clear, almost from day one, that he was not the Great White Hope.
I don't blame him either. That's a lot of pressure in a very sensitive topic and situation to just target him. You're the Great White Hope. You're the one who's going to break down the barriers, you know? Like, the thing is him and Magic kind of did it in a natural way, but to just put it on one person like that, like the media was whack for that one, dude. You don't do that, because in a way, yeah, it's hope. But if Bird makes one bad move, everyone's gonna go for his head, you know.
The great players are the black players, and they're the best.
Such deference meant little to black Celtics like Curtis Rowe, Sidney Wicks, and Cedric Maxwell, who looked at Bird and saw not the Great White Hope, but another case of Great White hype.
He didn't impress me no more than any white guy I've ever seen play before. I think that you would say that most black players at the time were racist, in the sense that we did not think that you could find a white guy who could play better than any black guy.
I mean, to be fair, I still hear some of the language here in 2025 where people will still say the line like, you know, that dude's pretty good for a white guy, you know, like when it comes to basketball. Like, I ain't never seen a white dude, you know, jump like that or play like that. It's something that, like, we've all just inherently inherited. I'm sorry for the redundancy of words there. But, you know, me from the 80s, it seems like something we all got used to saying when it comes to basketball is, like, if you see a white dude who's really good, well, nowadays we compare him to Larry Bird, and it's something I wish would stop. Luka is not Larry, you know, like it happens, and I'm probably guilty of doing it once in a while too, even though I don't want to contribute to that. But is that racism? I don't know. It is what it is, you know. But I have heard so many times, I even see it in the comments and everything, you know, Larry Bird was the baddest white dude I've ever seen. But why do we have to mention his skin color? You know, when I'm talking about Michael Jordan, I'm not saying that's the baddest black dude I've ever seen. So why is it okay? I don't know. You know, but I do tend to forget sometimes that that's what Larry Bird walked into was this kind of a scenario where white players were basically just looked down on, because by the time I really started watching basketball, you know, in the late 80s, there was a pretty good variety, a pretty good mix of skin colors and nationalities, and now it's gone international, it's gone global, you know, in the NBA. So you see people from all over the world, all kinds of skin colors, and I do appreciate that now.
When I walk in the first day of camp, them guys were on the floor stretching, and here comes the white savior, here comes this, here comes that.
I would hate it.
I sort of enjoyed it.
Really?
Because I knew I was going to battle them all day. But Curtis and Sidney didn't last long. They didn't even make it through the first practice, and they were cut. So then it was just Cedric.
I mean, I guess I kind of get that, too, on a competitive scale, because now he had a target on his head, and he knew everyone was going to go after him crazy on the basketball court. So a guy like Larry Bird's thinking, all right, I got to bust all their asses one by one.
Thinking, oh, he's slow, he can't get off a shot. He's not that strong. This is going to be a layup. Bam, knocks down a jump shot. Okay, maybe that was luck.
And we still have some of the same problems. 2025 basketball, a big complaint of mine is we focus so much on athleticism as opposed to fundamentals. You know, and I think a guy like, say, Jokic has been somewhat overlooked because of that. He's been disrespected and overlooked because he's not a crazy physically gifted guy. You know, he's not jumping out of the rooftops or anything like that. He's just busting people with boring fundamentals. But I find it, I love watching it. But we still have the same thing. Oh, it doesn't make a good highlight. I did a reaction to Larry Bird 50 highlights that would blow up the internet today. This was just a couple days ago. And one of the comments immediately was, you know, just like discrediting him because he's so not athletic. Like, oh, these highlights are boring, you know? It's like, dude, you're not watching basketball then. Like, you're not seeing all the crazy things he's doing and how much harder it is when he can't jump out of a building. You know what I mean? For me, I appreciate that kind of stuff. It's like if a dude only had like one leg and he was out there busting ass, it's like, yeah, look at this guy overcoming this inadequacy or whatever you want to say. But I'll always see that whenever talking about Bird. Yeah, his highlights are boring. You know, everyone is just looking for the crazy highlight of like Ant-Man or like Ja Morant jumping over somebody, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But I'm more about winning. And Larry Bird was a freaking winner.
Gets the ball again.
Bam.
Bam. Knocks down another jump shot. Now I'm thinking like, okay, hey, you know what, I'm finna D this guy up. I'm gonna show him his life. 20 feet away, bam. 25 feet away, bam. My mind just goes something. Damn, this white guy can play.
There it is. There it is, though. There's that line. That white guy can play. I know he means no ill intent by saying it. It's just something that everyone got comfortable saying.
It was a good thing, too. The storied Celtics might have been the winningest team in NBA history, but they were fresh off their worst season in 30 years. And in Bird, they had a player who was not only supremely talented, but tough enough to take on any challenge.
And I'm sorry, I'll stop pausing here after this, but people tend to forget that when it comes to Larry Bird. They think he just went into a championship team. No. They had the worst year before that. That's how they got Bird to begin with. So he turned that team around fast. And let's watch out. Let's see how.
I always played like everybody in the world was against me. I thought everybody was against me. Used to think up things to get me rattled before a game.
He knew how to fight. I know that from off the floor.
Yeah, he learned from childhood.
One night, somebody was giving one of his buddies a hard time, and Larry went over and, said, hey, this is my friend. And this guy was a pretty good-sized guy. By golly, they go out back, and the guy turns and says something to Larry. And Larry hit this guy, and I caught him. Hit him so hard, I go, whoa. He was from the old school.
Yeah, man.
And that's how he played.
Larry Bird.
That's how he grew up.
Plays it to the hilt, baby.
Played the game hard. Played rough.
There was no frills about him. He came in, he threw elbows. There was nothing smooth about Larry.
Look at this guy.
New Englanders like that. They're hardworking people. They like that that's how people view them. And that's what Larry was.
Larry Bird.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
They also like winners. And when Bird led the Celtics to the NBA championship in just his second season, he was finally one of those too. Boston loved Larry Bird. It just wasn't so clear at first how much Bird loved the city back.
And thank you guys, those who responded to my question in that previous Bird video. I'm glad to hear that Bird is still celebrated out there. I hope he is forever.
The city back.
There's only one place I'd rather be, French Lick. Thank you.
Man, Larry was almost agoraphobic in his treatment of anything outside his hometown.
He wanted to be the Wizard of Oz. He wanted to intimidate people and keep them at bay. The further we are away from each other, the more I like it.
I had a nice little house. I had my little yard. I want to go from there to practice back. If we had a game coming up, I want to go there to the game and back home. It was all basketball. My whole life was basketball.
If he was just sitting there with just me, you were looking around mumbling, trying to find things that we had in common that we could talk about. Now, we started talking about basketball, started talking about players. It was, it was great. U.S. history? Nope.
We forced passes, we made errors down the stretch.
Daily events? Nope.
I made the shot, and from then on we was up by 2, and they had to get back in the game, which they did.
Politics? Nope.
Try to not do anything I can't do or do no more than what I can do. I just go out and try to do my basic thing.
I respect that, though. Not everyone's a politician. Bird's not a politician. He's a professional basketball player. So focusing on basketball, I can appreciate that, man. Nowadays, everyone thinks they're a politician. Everyone's lost these days. I am not a politician. Neither are you, probably. There might be one or two of you who are watching this who are actually politicians, and there you go. Y'all should be talking politics. Not Larry Bird, man.
He proudly dubbed himself the Hick from French Lick, and he looked every bit the part.
I didn't know he named himself that. Excuse me. I didn't know that at all. I thought somebody else gave him that nickname.
But those who played him for simple did so at their own peril.
One of the great ways, I think, of winding up with no money in your pocket is to think Larry Bird is dumb. Syntax is not intelligence. Unlettered is not stupid.
He's got a great sense of humor. He just didn't show that to people. That didn't mean he didn't have it.
He did, however, allow the public one small indulgence.
You could come out on Saturday and watch him mow his lawn.
What?
Huge crowd started to stop. Larry Bird's cutting grass in front of his
What?
house. He's mowing his lawn in the springtime.
Larry is about doing things himself. And I think it's one of the things that made him so beloved in Boston.
Yeah.
But it's
relatable. It's one thing that I talk about a lot about 2025. It's hard to relate to these modern NBA players. They're so rich, so entitled at such a young age, and they've never had to do another job, you know? Like, they don't know what it's like. So when they have an 82-game season and they're complaining about playing like 62 of them, and the rest of us are like, you know, we are working way more than that, at least 5 days a week all year. And yeah, we don't get to miss like 25% of our scheduled days. We got to get in there or else they're going to replace our asses, you know? So a guy like Larry Bird, he's doing his job. He's doing it well. And he's also taking care of his own crap at home. Not just paying a bunch of workers to do it for him. That's very relatable.
Through his new world, he still had one eye fixed on a familiar foe in a faraway land.
Gotta get payback. This is a great documentary, by the way.
What tripped me out was I'm riding in the limo, and I'm seeing orange trees and lemon trees in people's front yards. Said, stop, I gotta go pick an orange. Are you crazy? I said, no, I gotta do this. And so I ran up like a scared little kid, grabbed the orange and ran back to the limo.
Oh, dude, we used to have orange groves or whatever here in Phoenix. Back in the day, I'm talking like when I was like a teenager, we still had them. We used to do the same thing too. I mean, we weren't supposed to, but we just like roll up and grab some oranges and like run away. Hell, man, a lot of my neighbors had orange trees too. That was good times in the summer.
Orange tree. I had never seen a lemon tree.
Lemons too.
I was fascinated.
When 20-year-old Irving Johnson arrived in Los Angeles in the fall of 1979, he was a world away from Lansing, the only home he'd ever known. He was the #1 pick of the LA Lakers, a once dominant franchise stuck in mediocrity. In the stoic Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Lakers had talent, was energy.
What was that?
In the stoic Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Lakers had talent, was energy. Earvin Magic Johnson was only too happy to provide it.
Lit the place up. Changed the franchise, changed the temperament. I changed it from the very first game.
Wait. Considering he's in California, that I'll rewind it. In California, did they not have orange trees in California in 1970? Like 1979, 80?
I changed it from the very first game.
Yep, game 1 of the season. Skyhook to win it.
Here it was, the first game of a long season against the lowly Clippers. And Magic was embracing Kareem as if they'd just won their 10th straight
look at
championship.
how happy he
it was
is.
like, man, this is a different kind of dude.
He's so happy.
From the day he arrived, he became the prince of the city. He reminded me of a guy who wakes up without an alarm clock. And that's what I used to always say. I want to be happy enough to wake up without an alarm clock because I want to go into my work.
Yeah, well said.
He had it, what it is. As far as I was concerned, the it was not his ability or his size. The it was his attitude, was his leadership, was his mind. I mean, I don't have to talk about Game 6 at Philadelphia.
Magic Johnson will shove.
In his rookie season, Magic had helped lead the Lakers to the NBA Finals against the Philadelphia 76ers. In Game 6, with an injured Abdul-Jabbar back home in LA, Magic played all 5 positions, scored 42 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, and dished out 7 assists, leading the Lakers to the championship.
You know, quick little tidbit. It reminds me of Magic smiling all the time when playing basketball. Really, there was one memory in my life I remember. I was in a band playing guitar. I love playing guitar, okay? You had a guitar in my hand. I am happy as hell. And on stage, I was always smiling, you know, like, because I'm happy. I'm really in the moment. I'm having a good time. I'm very happy. And I remember my singer at the time was giving me crap because he was like, dude, like, we're trying to have an image here. Like, could you, like, wipe the smile off your face a little bit and, like, have more of a serious look? And I'm like, hell no, I can't. Like, what the hell? You want to take the joy out of playing guitar out from me? Like, I don't care what image of darkness you're trying to portray, but I'm going to be that happy dude playing lead guitar, playing these solos, you know? And I was like, I tried to point it out. I'm like, go look at Eddie Van Halen when he was on stage. You see him looking serious? I don't. The guy is the happiest dude ever. And in my opinion, that joy of doing your work with a big smile on your face and it's being honest, I think it's contagious. I don't know about you guys. I think it's contagious. When I see somebody else like that, I want to smile. I want to root for that person. And for me, it was natural, but it always reminds me of that because it's like, dude, why can't I be happy doing the thing that I love? And why can't I show that?
In just 4 years, he had won titles in high school, college, and the pros.
Magic, what do you have that makes you perform like this in these championship games?
Well, I don't know. Just I love to win. Across the masthead of the Los Angeles Times the next day, it said, "It's Magic."
He was a star when he first arrived here, coming off the NC2A game. And quickly, during that first season, he became one of the stars in town. But that game put him on another level. That made him the star in town.
It's funny how I wanted to meet the celebrities, but they wanted to meet me. I was like, like, wow, you know who I am?
He was young, famous, and after Lakers owner Jerry Buss signed him to a 25-year, $25 million contract, very rich.
Everyone hated him for that, which was ironic because in hindsight, that just blew open a door for everyone else to make more money. But in the moment, everyone hated him. It reminds me of like what's going on with Caitlin Clark right now. It's like, don't be jealous of her. Don't be jealous of her. Be happy because the more money she makes, the more money you can ask for next time your contract is up. Like, this is how it goes.
Lansing was ready to sample a different kind of fruit. His Playboy boss knew all the ripest trees.
I said, oh, I'm hanging with him. When they were coming into the box and he had 10, 20 of them and look, Irvin, which one you want? And I was like, oh, okay, it's like that? And then he said, I'm going to take you to the Playboy Mansion. What? The mansion? No, you're kidding. I said, yep. So I went there, and my first time, I'm backing up like, I can't believe I'm in, but I'm backing up away. You know, it's like, I'm scared to death. Probably 10 guys to 100 women, you know. Everybody think it's sex-driven, but it's really not. You have dinner, then you watch the latest movie. And then, of course, I don't want to ever say that sex wasn't involved, because if you meet somebody, that's what you wanted to do. You did that, but it's really a great experience to go up there. So yeah, I had fun.
I bet.
He came to LA like the Pied Piper. You know, people were giving him this and giving him that, but he stayed pretty grounded to the game.
Everybody was getting high then, but you can't even smoke a joint around Magic.
He had real old school, down in the trenches work ethic, and that was honed in him by his dad, Irvin Johnson Sr.
Magic was always this guy. He never did none of that, so I did everything for him.
Man.
Magic Johnson was living on a natural high. He was starring in the role of a lifetime.
It's true. The guy's so happy as it is. He loves his life. What's the need for drugs? I respect it. I get it.
Guard of a Hollywood team with an offense called
He's
Shoutout.
high off his own endorphins.
He even had the alter ego perfect for the production.
Guys, I just got to bring it up. I'm so sorry about my voice, how crappy I sound. I hope this is still enjoyable for you all.
Magic was his stage name. Even he would laugh about it.
Well, he always says there's two people. There's Irvin Johnson from East Lansing, and there's Magic Johnson from Hollywood.
Irvin Johnson is another guy. Here's Magic over here, and here's Irvin over here.
Irvin is this fun-loving guy.
Bird has been quoted to say, I never liked Magic, but I really like Irvin.
Magic was so serious and dedicated to his game, and he was a crazy, crazy competitor and a crazy man.
Irvin, I think, is the smiling kid from Lansing. I think Irvin died about 25 minutes after the NCAA championship.
Irvin doesn't have the ego that Magic has. Magic got a crazy ego, and winning is everything.
And Irvin wanted to, along with Magic, conquer LA.
After having led the Lakers to 2 NBA titles in their first 4 years in town, Magic and Irvin were well on their way.
Yeah, well, I'd say he did it. Quick one, comment. Get in the comments real quick. Greatest Laker of all time, in your opinion. Okay? Just in your opinion, no right or wrong answers, because I still go with Magic. I'm curious what you guys think, you know? Anyways, where are we here? I got to get to about the 45. Okay, we got about 9 more minutes, and then I'm going to stop it. This is perfect because all my symptoms are coming back like crazy. So let's get on with it. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys have to say. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Kareem, Kobe's, stuff like that. I'm very interested to see who you think is the greatest Laker of all time, like in your heart.
I think Magic wanted to be friends with Larry Bird. He wanted to be friends with him on the World Invitational Tournament, and Larry just wasn't very receptive. I think he wanted to be friends with him during the Final Four. Larry wouldn't even go over and shake his hand. So now Magic's saying, well, what's with this guy? Everybody loves me. How come you don't love me? And then they get to their rookie year, the first time they play each other. Well, they have a very hard foul. And they have to be separated a little bit. And Magic's like, all right, well, the heck with this guy. You don't like me? Fine. All right, good. I don't like you either.
Yeah, he set the tone.
He's a very competitive player, and I'm a very competitive player. And we go head to head, and we go for blood almost.
The vibe was nasty. It was ugly. It was we didn't like each other.
I'm the one that did all that. To tell you the truth, I just don't want to be hanging around him. I mean, that's my main competition.
I respect it.
And he couldn't escape the memory of losing to him in 1979.
Oh, it ate at him bad that he didn't win that national title against Magic. That was something, it just burned him.
It was one thing for them to be in the 79 championship. Magic had the better team. Everybody agreed with that. Magic had the better game. Fine. Now you get to the pros. Larry has this incredible year.
Bird, a runner. It's good!
But there he is, watching in a club while Magic Johnson wins a championship, and he's thinking, all right, I'm behind 2-0.
I watched that game, and I couldn't believe it. I always wanted to play at that level.
But what Bird couldn't possibly have known was that he had inspired Magic's performance when he was named Rookie of the Year earlier that same day.
The PR person from the Lakers says, hey, Irvin, the Rookie of the Year voting has come out. And Magic says, okay, well, who won? He said, well, Larry Bird won. And Magic says, well, was it close?
Not even.
And he said,
not
oh, no.
even close.
He went out that day, yes, to try to win the NBA championship, but also to prove it to one Larry Bird. You know what? I should have been Rookie of the Year.
Even though I won the championship, I still wanted to win Rookie of the Year, too.
He won that championship. I was pissed. I wanted one.
I love it.
But even after he had won one the next year, his obsession only grew deeper.
I'd get up in the morning.
This just takes me back to like Michael Jordan saying when what was it, 1997? Karl Malone got the MVP. That's cool. I'm going to get this, and he's talking about the Finals MVP.
See what he did because their games came on late. Then you look at the box score. I had to have him there for some reason. It's like a crutch. Somebody I can compare myself to.
I mean, you need that kind of a rivalry though to push you in those hard moments. You know, when you're exhausted, it's like midnight and you've been practicing for like hours and hours. You got to have it in your head. Damn, if I'm Larry Bird, in this instance, I'd be thinking, man, I bet Magic is still practicing right now. I got to practice even more. Let me get it one more hour, and then I can go home and rest. You need that thing to drive you sometimes, even if you're just lying to yourself, you're tricking to yourself. But when you're that exhausted and that tired, you want to rest. You need to do whatever you need to do psychologically in order to push even further.
What was being said that Larry was better than me, and I'm just a guy who can control the game. My first 4 or 5 years, that bothered me.
Best all-around player, yeah.
I didn't tell nobody it bothered me, but it did.
Their competitive dislike emerged from a greater truth, that on the court, they were doppelgangers. Team-oriented stars who cared about winning above all else. Basketball savants who fused the substance of the 60s with the style
That's how
of the
they
70s
saved the NBA.
to create a new and exciting yet selfless way to play the game in the 1980s.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. But I'm going to pass in a way to make you look like a jackass.
I think Magic broke down some of those stereotypes too, because as we saw in the beginning of this video, there was a lot of stereotypes of, you know, guys, you know, these black basketball players had a reputation of, we don't care about winning. We just care about looking good and being the man and all this stuff. So Magic's coming in here like completely blowing down those stereotypes. Like, it's not about being the man. It's about winning. You know, all he cared about was winning. All he talked about was winning. And he was willing to play unselfishly to do it. And then you look on the opposite end of this in Boston, and Larry Bird, completely different skin color. He's doing the exact same thing. You don't care about his stats or anything like that. Just care about winning. And I think this really set the tone for the NBA moving forward, that we value winners. You can average 40 points a game all you want, but we don't care if you didn't win the championship. It was all for nothing. I think we got to get back to it. I feel like in the 2020s, we've kind of lost some of this. We value statistics too much again, and it's kind of gone in this, like, you know, full circle thing where I think we got to get back to, no, it's all about the winning. All the other stuff doesn't matter. And I hope it does. You know, guys like Wemby and Jokic, I'm watching them. You know, I'd like to see them really be the face of the league with their mentality, because all they talk about is winning and improving.
So similar in the way they competed. I mean, they were two halves of the same brain.
It was beautiful.
Same craziness to excel.
Dare I say yin yang? You know, like I think of these two, and I really think of this. You know, sorry, I'm not good at drawing or anything like that, but I really think of this. You know, two sides of the same coin, yin yang. You need the other half in order for this to be successful, and they had it.
I seen that first couple of days I was with him.
Basketball IQ off the chart.
Seen the game a little different, most players.
Playing the game the right way was everything.
A lot of guys can just score. A lot of guys can just rebound. A lot of guys can just make plays. We can do it all.
Larry and Magic could control the game with 12 shots. It was amazing. They'd be 7 for 12. They'd have 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists. And you go, man, the guy shot the ball 12 times and was the best player on the court by far.
But I think it was tough at first. I don't think either one of them wanted to recognize that they had any equal anywhere in what they did. But they sure as hell didn't want to recognize that their equal happened to be that other guy.
That's why we hated each other too, because we knew we were mirrors of each other.
I think for a while the two of them had to come to grips with that.
They had begun changing the game, but with continued low television ratings and tape-delayed finals, the league was struggling to get the word out. When the NBA and CBS signed a new TV deal before the 82-83 season, the rescue plan was simple. Sell more Bird and Magic, and sell them not just as ball players, but as arch-rival characters in their own dramatic saga.
You got this slick Showtime African-American guy out west, and you got the lunch bucket, floppy-haired white guy with the bruises all over his body. Blood. It's central casting. It's perfect.
I mean, this was like made in heaven. In 1979, this idea of Magic and Bird was created, and so that was sort of a no-brainer. We'd have a doubleheader. It would be the Celtics playing first, and the Lakers playing second, and that's the way we did it.
Smart.
And when the Celtics and Lakers both reached the finals just a year into the new TV deal in 1984, here the superstar investment
Wars
was about to pay off.
It was huge. It was probably the biggest moment the NBA had up to that point. You had Boston and LA, East against West. It had all the elements of a classic
And we got the
showdown.
rematch from college.
Including what was becoming the most inescapable element of all.
Did we know that blacks and whites were lining up, the whites with the Celtics, the blacks with... Of course we knew that.
even in the Celtics' own backyard.
Oh, wow.
They land at Logan Airport at the 84 finals. He's getting accosted by various people who are telling him Larry's going to take him down. But this one older African-American gentleman comes up to me and goes, Magic, I want to wish you well. Good luck. I want you to crush the Celtics. And he said, oh, well, where are you from? He said, well, I'm from Boston. And he said, you're from Boston and you're rooting for the Lakers? I thought everybody here was crazy about the Celtics. And he looked right at me and said, now, why would I root for those white folks?
Crap.
Boston, after all, was a town still scarred by the ugly busing crisis of the mid-'70s, a violent period of urban unrest during which white had been pitted against black. The resulting taint on the city nationally, coupled with a Boston roster littered with white players, affirmed to many black Americans that the Celtics were not the team for them.
Even today, people said, you played with the Celtics, and I hated you at that time. I wanted Magic to win. I didn't want that damn Larry Bird to win. We had all these black players, but they looked at us because we had Larry Bird leading us as a team that was white.
That's wild.
They were perfect archetypes for what was becoming the biggest story in sports. But for the real-life players, the narrative was much simpler.
It's finally going to happen. We get to go head-to-head again. It's just a matter of rolling that ball out there and let's get it on.
What better of a place to stop it? I'm right at the halfway point, and I got to get to editing this and then posting, and then I gotta get some rest. I'm not gonna lie, but I think this is over an hour long at this point, guys. I am having a blast with this, so I can't wait until tomorrow to come back and watch the second half. Once again, shout out to the comments for giving me the much needed kick in the butt to actually react to this. And for those of you, I know there's a lot of Larry Bird content this week that I'm reacting to. It just kind of happened naturally, and then the more I'm reacting to, the more I'm getting into it. And I also had a thought last night where I'm like, damn, I really want to talk about Magic a little bit too, because for whatever reason I don't get around the Magic that often, and this is perfect because I get to talk about both of them, and this is actually opening up the door for a lot of different topics of discussion, some sensitive, and I'm doing my best to navigate it. We all have different experiences when it comes to racism, and I definitely have my stories as well. I'm sure a lot of you do. And, I'm not scared to talk about it. I just try to approach it as a human, There's a lot of bad things that we've seen growing up, a lot of bad things we're going to continue to see, but there's a lot of great. There's a lot of awesome things like this that I can point to and say, this was a great way to kind of kick down some of those barriers. Was it clean and smooth? Hell no. Of course it can't be. You know what I mean? Like what they're showing right now, which I didn't know. You got Boston fans who don't want to, root for the Celtics because Larry Bird is white and, he's the head of the team. So, the hatred goes deep, and understandably so. But yeah, very sensitive topics. I know it's a basketball channel, but hey, we're all human. So anyways, you guys, hope you don't crucify me in the comments. And if you do, you do. I'm just a person. I'm just a sick person right now. So, I got to get some rest. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you guys tomorrow for part 2. And before that, I hope I see you guys in the comments. Like the video if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Hit that subscribe plus if you want to support my channel. And most importantly, is to be water, my friends.